Congratulations on the purchase of your AUSRV X15. I'm sure you'll have many years of great overlanding adventures with it. In this video tutorial, I'm going to show you how to set up the kitchen and electrical systems on your new trailer. Setting up the kitchen is really easy. All the water connections are in place, they're permanently connected. The only connection we have to make once we get the kitchen out is the gas connection. There's a quick fitting here with a ball cock, so you can turn the gas off at that point. Easy to do, just open up your cabinet. Securing the kitchen inside the cabinet are two pad bolts, one on either side. Before sliding it out, you need to raise these. To get them locked out of the way, lift them up and turn it 90 degrees. There is a pin that will sit on a small lip and hold those pad bolts out of the way while you slide the kitchen out. When you slide it out, always grab this top handle here. That's connected to the chassis. That's the one you use to withdraw the kitchen out. The bottom one is for a slide out shelf, so don't grab that to get it out. Slides out nice and easy. Now we need to put the support leg down to ensure that the end of the kitchen has plenty of support when you're cooking on it. Under the kitchen, the support leg's held up by a spring-loaded pin. There's a button, just press the button to release it, lower it down, and then we can drop our legs down with the adjusters, then tighten them back up to support the kitchen. Behind the cooker, you'll find a cutout where you'll find these two attachments. One is a 12-volt connection, so you can have the ignition on your stove working, plugs into the 12-volt port just behind the kitchen there, and the other one is your gas connection, which will plug in just behind me. Now we can set up the top part of our kitchen. First, we start with the windshield. Fold it back, then bring the sides around like so, then move it back forward. On the bottom of these sides are two pins which will slot into a couple of holes there. That's now set up, and setting up the dish rack is so easy. Last but not least is our LED light. There's a small switch underneath it to operate it, and it'll ensure you can cook at night with no problem at all. The electrical systems on the X15 are in two sections. There's your panel right next to the door, and there's this back section underneath the bed. The main switch is right beside me. Large red switch, easy to see. That is your main power switch for all the 12-volt systems. To have the solar charging or any use or charging of the 12-volt systems, you need to have that switch on. Then everything will happen. Your batteries will charge from the solar, and they'll charge while you're towing from the Anderson plug on your vehicle. Also here are the batteries. On top of the batteries, you'll see some additional fuses. Those are for things like the stereo system, so individually fused with a low rating fuse for protection. In the center here, we have our DC to DC unit which controls the solar panel. You'll never have to do anything with that. It's set as long as it's set on the correct batteries. It will automatically do everything it needs to do with your solar. Beside that is your circuit breakers for your mains power. If you lose mains power for whatever reason, this white box with the clear covers on the front is where you come to reset the switches for the main power. In the battery system, there's also a mega fuse. The mega fuse, the black bodied fuse with the red button on top, is your main power fuse to protect the batteries and the systems overall. If you lose all 12-volt power, this is where you come to find that and reset that switch. Also, we have our gas detector. So that's there to alert you if you have any propane leaks or any problems. It will start to beep and you need to investigate why. That covers everything to do with powering the camper. Now, to operate the rest of the camper with all the individual circuit switches, we do that next to the door. Once your main switch is on at the back of the interior, then we come to the control panel, and this is where you control everything else. So what I'll do is I'll run you through all the different items that are on this panel and what they do. Starting off on the electrical panel is the main switch to the panel here. Switch that on, and we have lights. Everything is now functioning. Across the top, we have our water tank gauges. So we've got the 2 storage tanks and the grey water tank here. Up in the top corner, it tells you your battery capacity, currently sitting on 100%, and voltage at the battery. So we've covered the main power. We also have a fridge switch. When this is activated, it'll actually activate a small fan in the fridge storage area as well to ventilate it. Main switch for all the lights. This one's for all the plugs, and this one controls your water pump. Just below these are resettable circuit breakers. So if an individual circuit does go down, simply push it in and that will reset it. Below that, our stereo, of course, and USB charge points and a 12-volt outlet. Just here is our awning switch. So to close the awning, press the bottom. To open the awning, press the top. Beside that is our BM Pro monitor. This will tell you how many amps of charge are going into the batteries at any time. Currently they're running on solar panel. We're in a bit of shade. So we've got 1.8 amps being delivered. And considering that the batteries are at full capacity, that's about what we expect. It'll also tell you the amps output. So when you're using lights or any other electrical function on the 12 volt, that'll display how much power you're using. Beside that, we have our Truma AquaGo control panel. I advise you always have a read of the Truma manual to properly use this unit, and then you won't get into trouble. And there's also maintenance aspects involved there as well. At the bottom, we have our step switch. So to activate our electric step, press that down. It's a momentary switch, so to retract it, you press it down again. And we have our light circuits. We've got the handle lights outside LEDs on 2 switches here, and the rest of our switch circuits here. So from here you can control switching everything on and off except for the lights, etc., which have their own individual switch at the light fitting. Packing up your kitchen is just as easy as setting it up. First, make sure your gas is turned off at the ball valve there. Pull the collar back and take the hose out. Then, when we go around the other side, we can pack that away. Make sure your tap is in the down position in the sink, and close up our dish rack and lay our LED light down as so. Now I can go around the other side, disconnect the 12 volt power and fold up our windshield. Our cable and gas hose simply stays in here underneath the cooker. Folding up the windshield is the exact opposite of setting it up. Fold the sides down. Now we can raise our leg up. Make sure it's retracted fully. Then we can fold it up and tuck it up underneath the kitchen. Just push the bolt through and it's locked in. All done. Now we can put our kitchen back in. Always make sure the pad bolts are still pulled back before you slide it in, otherwise they'll strike on the bottom of the kitchen and you can damage them. Just lift and turn the pad bolts 90 degrees and drop them back into their spot. There you have it, folks. That's how easy it is to set up the kitchen and electrical systems on your AUSRV X15. For more information, follow the other video tutorials on our YouTube channel or head across to our website.